Hi, welcome back to Small Talk Queens. I'm Megan.
I'm Kelly.
Episode 66.
Wow.
I know, right?
Isn't that close to like the devil's number?
It's 666. We have another 600 episodes to go before we get there. And yes, we've switched spots. We switched spots because my neck hurt. My neck hurts.
She's got a neck.
So
cramp.
I can't keep turning this way to look at her.
This.
New mug.
Look
I've
at
had
the
it.
rainbow.
I got it with it says, what does it say?
Cup o' gold.
Cup of gold. For my
St. Patty's.
St. Patty's Day.
Notice
Joe's
the
been
green.
using it more. I use the green one. But in case you're wondering, I got them at Kohl's. Aren't they cute? But the problem is the fucking handle is like I can barely get 2 fingers in. So I have to hold it like precariously like this because it's not a 2-finger kind of hole.
Let me tell you about how warm it is outside.
I'm sorry. I'm just over here amusing my own self.
It's really warm outside.
It is beautiful.
It's almost too warm. It's almost too warm.
Is this cockeyed? Why do we look if we look cockeyed to you, like, look, sorry.
I got in the car.
Sorry, people. There we go.
I got in the car and I started to sweat.
We're cockeyed. Yeah. I need
When
to put the heat
anything
on
above
out here.
60, anything above 60, I start to sweat. I mean, it's just sorry
It is
don't
warming
smell.
up. It is warming up.
until late in the day.
Oh god, so gross.
You even have a green beret in.
I did. I got the, because my little hairs in the back just like fray out, and I look like
Means your hair's growing.
What's his name? King.
Don King.
Yeah. So, in case you're new,
We swear.
we swear. We have bad words. We say fuck a lot, and Jesus
And it's not
Christ.
gratuitous. It's
And
just comes
how I
out
fucking
naturally.
talk. It's how I fucking talk. So, if you don't like it, just feel free to just turn it off. You don't have to tell us about it. Just move on with your day. Thank you, and
That reminds me of something when we get to
Goodbye.
that.
So, speaking of words, I'm just going to hold this up. This is from 4 days, right? 4 days since our last show. I have a couple over here. Of new words that I have learned from fucking watching Vera.
Everybody
I'm
needs to
telling
get the
you,
Brit box so you can watch
it
this.
is a whole new language. It is a whole new language.
Wow.
And as soon as it pops up, even Jonas, he just pauses it so I can Google it quick.
Okay, just so, because it looks like really big in the picture. I do have a cold sore.
No one can see it. But you pointed
I
out,
do
no
have
one's
a
going to
cold
look.
sore.
Got the herp, a lot of herp.
Do you have a cold sore?
Oh, God.
From the stress? I don't know what can possibly be stressful in my life.
Oh, my God. I can't imagine.
My child didn't go to school yesterday. A refusal.
School refusal. Speaking of refusal, I am not doing the beer thing this week. I talked about it last week. I was going to do the
Yeah, well, you're going to...
well, because it's early in the day, and I cannot be shotgunning a beer right now. And we're
You're
actually
getting old.
we usually
getting
film
old.
this. We usually film this Thursday or Friday. That's a little bit different than a
It's more of a
Tuesday.
holiday.
And today is actually
weekend.
Tuesday. It is our St. Patty's Day edition because it's going to be post this the weekend of St. Patty's Day, thus officially. But I can't shotgun a beer on a noon on a fucking Tuesday. I mean, I thought about it. I thought about it. I did, and decided in the long run.
In your younger days, you would have.
In my younger days, I would have, but
She's getting old.
I just thought I don't want to fall asleep. It's Joe's birthday.
old.
I have to make the dinner. I mean, look, we're not going out tonight because he's taking a class online, so he's a class. So
He should skip it. It's his birthday.
We're gonna go out tomorrow night. So
Do you think Joe ever skipped classes like we skipped classes?
No, I assure you, he did not.
I mean, John skipped some classes occasionally, but only like 1 or 2. I mean, come on. You've not lived till you've skipped like a whole semester of a class.
Right?
Which is
And then you get to pay to repeat it.
which
And
is
then when
my
you're 48
nightmare.
years old, you're still paying your student loans back, thinking, "Fuck, I wish I wouldn't have done that."
which
Wasted a whole fucking semester.
that's like my nightmare right there is that, and I have it reoccurring. You know how we have that reoccurring nightmare? Mine is that I've not gone to class for a whole semester and it's an English class and I have to show up and I have to write a paper.
That's a bitch.
It like wakes me up.
I can't talk about recurring dreams, assholes.
Oh,
I have about assholes. Speaking of assholes,
Everybody
speaking of
has
assholes,
one.
Everybody has one. I'm going to talk about the Britbox
no, go on, do
language,
that.
but
Do
I want.
that. No, do that first.
But I said speaking of assholes.
I know, do that first.
Okay. Also, speaking of assholes, I have my magazine thing. Okay, wait. So here,
She's
let me
got a
break it up.
lot.
I know, right? Speaking of assholes. Okay.
Vera.
I have make a note for myself. Microphone plugged in. Hallelujah. Okay. First, okay. So I cannot talk up this show Vera enough. I think it's fantastic. If you look at it's like I said this last week. It's like Murder She Wrote has that good feel. It has the same sort of ending every time where she's like
No cliffhangers?
someone's gravesite or standing on the beach or whatever and having a nice moment. with a colleague.
My glasses are
But
really
she's
crooked.
she's not always. I think it's the angle of it.
But I also think
the
they're
phone's
crooked.
caca. Anyway, so here are.
Some new words. Get your pen ready.
She said to somebody they were being economical with the truth, which I thought was fantastic.
I've heard that before.
I've never heard that before. I watched somebody let the dog in our yard. Economical with the truth, which I thoroughly appreciated that.
I've heard something like that before. No, I'm gonna watch.
There's one I didn't get the definition of this. Glad handing. I don't know what that is. I didn't get it.
I've heard glad handing before. Isn't that like kind of like you're just shaking people's hand and going through? You're
don't
like
remember.
yesing them. It's a yes.
I wrote it down. I meant to go back and I didn't. Dossing down.
Here, I'll look it
Which
up.
I wrote that again yesterday.
Dossing?
Dossing down is crashing, like sleeping
Dossing,
somewhere.
dossing
Like
down.
dossing down at your friend's flat.
Why do they have to call
Clearly,
it
someone's
dossing?
been dossing down here. They've been crashing there. They've been sleeping there.
I'm gonna have to take a linguistics course to figure out where
Right.
these words came from.
Oh, I forgot to. Why did I not write definite croupier? Shit. Look this up.
But okay. I'm not ignoring.
And I wrote
you.
it down. Okay, I'll tell you how to spell it. I
Yeah.
wrote it down and also phonetically so I could pronounce it. Croupier. Croupier. I forget what it means.
The person in charge of a gaming table, gathering in
Yes,
and paying out money
We call that the dealer
or tokens,
or the pit box, right? The pit box. Is that what they call it? Pit
I
boss.
don't know.
Pit boss.
Wait,
Yes.
and also the historical meaning is the
Pit boss.
assistant chairman at a public dinner, seated at the lower end of the table. Those are two very different
Look.
meanings.
So pit boss is what we call that at the casino.
Pit boss.
Croupier.
Oh
Here's
yeah,
one, I
look,
love it.
and who's that actor?
I don't know.
There's an actor,
I'm
and he
bad with
comes up
names.
in the movie. He's a famous actor. Oh, Clive Owen is in a movie called Croupier.
Oh,
Croupier.
he's the dealer. Look at that. Faffing about.
love faffing.
Isn't that good?
What does that mean?
The thing like flitting about, but I forget. Like I look it up. I write it down. Sometimes I look it up
Yeah,
at the
why not?
time.
I like
Faffing
I'm gonna
about.
have to use
Someone was
that.
faffing about. Done a bunk. What do you think that means? Done a bunk.
You're in a bad situation.
You run off.
Done a bunk.
Done a bunk.
They've
When it's a
done a bunk.
teenager, they always think someone's done a bunk.
They've done a bunk. Why?
Here
I
we
need to
go.
know where these come from.
I mean, some I don't have to look up. Done a bunk, I looked up. So when usually I'm watching it, sometimes I know what the fuck they're talking about just by, like when they showed last night and they showed the scene of sleeping bags and they said clearly someone's been
Debunking.
no. What did I say? Dossing down. I understood that it meant sleeping, but out of context you wouldn't know. So done a bunk. So skived, if I'm pronouncing that right. Skivvied? No, skived off work early, like just take off, right? Here, I knew what this meant because of what I was witnessing. Lashing it down. What does that mean?
Laying down.
No.
Fighting?
Lashing it down, pouring down rain.
Oh.
Lashing it down, right?
Okay. Again, who's your friend? Who's our friend in England?
Sarah.
Sarah.
She's in Scotland.
In Scotland?
To be exact.
Okay. UK.
Because I was saying England and it's not. It's different.
The Scotland. You need to Scotland. You need to give me. Just tell me where to look, like linguistics of like where these come from.
Well, most of the time it comes up with like Oxford English, whatever.
That's the
something,
dictionary,
something.
but I need to
Okay.
know like where these words stem from.
You can go to Wikipedia, which sometimes these come up on Wikipedia. Last night one came up on Wikipedia, and I was like, and then after like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, put the show back on. I'm done. Okay, here, knocked about.
Thrown about.
No, hung out with. Like, is that your friend you knocked about with? They used to knock about. They used to hang out.
That actually sounds like you're screwing.
I know it has a lot
Sleeping
of
with?
right knocked about, or that you got like
Knocked up.
knocked around. Like we would say, if you got beat up, like he knocked her around. That's a bad whatever. She knocked me around. Whatever. Someone got knocked around. But knocking about means hanging out with.
Did we start this? Oh, we did. Okay.
We did, I know, right? Really fucking amazing, right? I keep feeling like I forgot something, but it's plugged in. And I think too because like I'm
We're in
looking at
different
it
spots.
in different spots, and this is Gertrude, by the way. Here's Gertrude. Gladys is still fucker.
Fucking
Be
Gertrude.
careful with her.
The baby doll. It's like an American Girl doll for adults.
Oh, right, I love it.
An American Girl doll.
Do you know
for
what
adults.
ta means?
Ta?
Ta.
How do you-
This actually is rarely in Vera, and I think because it's in a different region from where the other British shows we've watched have taken place.
Oh, here we
So
go.
now I need to know if it is
Regional?
regional, and I
Dialect?
think it might be.
What is it?
Thank you.
What is it?
Ta. T-A. Thank you.
Ta.
Ta. Thank
That's
you.
like ta-ta.
Thanks.
That's like-
but it's thanks.
Ta-ta.
But I've only heard it in Vera a couple of times. Also, like Vera says bairn, B-A-I-R-N. Bairn means child And they say barren all the time, and I've never heard that before in anything else.
I've also
ever
heard if you're barren, you're not able to have children. Like, I don't
barren
understand.
is spelled differently. This is barren.
So you have the spelling and the pronunciation that screws us.
Barren, like Trump's kid, Barron.
Barron.
However that's spelled. Barren, like you cannot have a child. This is barren.
Barren.
Now off with yourself. Get home, see that barren you never see. Vera says it to the guy she works with who has children at home.
It's very young.
No.
Oh.
Skinful. I've had a skinful.
Enough?
A lot to drink. So I'm going to have to really incorporate that in my lifestyle.
There are a lot of words I want to incorporate.
There's so many fun things to say. All right. This is similar to a word we learned last week, which I forgot, which I wrote down. Of course, I need to go back to it. Last week it was, I can't read my handwriting. A skivvy was a British term, often derogatory as servants. A female who does skivvy, specifically a female who does menial labor. Dog's body is a male who does, or someone, often male, I think.
Dog's body?
Dog's body.
D-O-G?
D-O-G-S-B-O-D-Y. Dog's body. And it also, they broke it up into dog something, but it's someone who does menial work.
You got some birds.
There's a lot of birds.
Angry birds.
Yep.
Menial work. I still like
Here
the
we go.
loo.
I need to
The
pronounce
loo.
this correctly.
I have to get a loo.
Cuckooing. C-U-C-K. Cuck. O-O-I-N-G. Cuckooing.
Oh, I have no idea.
Forcibly taking over someone's home to conduct illicit activities.
I need to know where
so
these come
this
from.
last night's episode was this we watched, because each one's like an hour and a half.
I need to know these.
It's
Oh
like,
my God.
It's like watching a movie, but there's no commercial breaks. So it's a good show. So like, we're invested. So each one, like,
I know,
sit
but
and
do the
watch
Brits
it.
not have commercials? Like, this is...
Well, we watch it on BritBox. We're paying for it, so I think the commercials.
Okay. Because then it's a 2-hour show.
I don't know. But this crack addict, they were in his home, and they were saying it was clearly something about being cuckooing, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, is it crack lingo? Like, what is this?
It sounds like a dirty term.
Cuckooing, right? Cuck, not cock. Cuckooing, forcibly taking over someone's home to conduct illicit activities.
Sounds like a dirty term.
A dirty term. And that's it. There's your notes over here.
So we have to watch Vera, and it's only on BritBox?
So we get it. We subscribe to BritBox.
How much is it a month?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
I thought I saw a special for like $4.99.
Yeah, I think it was like $5.99. That could have just been the starting fee. I'm not sure. But we get it through Amazon Prime. So look at my fun. Look at my fun purple nails this week. Isn't that fun?
It doesn't really go with the green.
No, but I didn't have any green. First of all, I have green polish. But it matched the shirt that I wore. We did a little celebration for Joe's birthday on Saturday.
Happy birthday,
and it matched
Joe.
the shirt that I wore that shredded all over
It
my
looks like
fucking
she has
house.
bugs or ants over here.
I can't. So I wore this shirt that I've had in the closet for years, right? And I should have brought it down, right? It is cute. I mean, I should, maybe I'll wear it next week before I throw it in the trash. Currently, it's balled up in the bathroom, in like a corner, like where it's just not gonna.
So that's where everybody puts their clothing.
So it's kind of like I had to wear a shirt under it because it's kind of like sheer, but then it's like polka dotted all over with like little purple, like velvety, fuzzy polka dots, but also little black shiny ones that are made from black metallic thread. That black metallic thread, I came down. So Kelly's pointing because there's a chair I was everywhere I fucking sat Saturday night. It was everywhere. I walk into the bathroom floor.
It looks like ants.
I walked into the bathroom Sunday morning, and the floor is white. Right, our downstairs bathroom. The floor is white, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I thought it was bugs. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like mouse poopers. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I mean, I freaked out. I lost my mind. And then I realized, I don't know if I knew it right then. No, I came out onto the porch, and 2 spots on the porch where I must have sat, well now 3 because this chair over here, and it's covered in black specks, right? And it's shiny metallic material or threads, and it sticks to fucking everything. So I was trying to like dustbuster it up off the bathroom floor, and it wouldn't even so that I had to, I'm like, I'll leave it alone. I have to wipe it up. And it literally is everywhere. It's all over the house.
It is.
I had a piece on me in bed last night. I mean, it's like it is everywhere in this house. And I've tried vacuuming and using the dustbuster and that chair.
Kind of flaked off there.
Well, no,
I think
forgot about
static
that
electricity
chair.
isn't.
It is. So it's this
isn't
metallic,
helpful.
this little teeny tiny black metallic threads. You're gonna go home with it. I'm telling you, it is all over this house. So then I was hostile because it is such a cute shirt. Aside from the fact that it makes me itch and then less fucking mess all over the place.
I get hostile about so many things.
I know, right? Also, mess.
Huh?
Dropped the martini glass on the floor. Thank God I was almost done with the martini. My first drink of the night. Well, my first drink of the party.
What did you whack it on?
I didn't whack it on anything. I literally dropped it out of my hand.
Oh.
I was holding it, and it was mostly empty. And then I went to.
Maybe somebody should.
I went to
cover
like
off.
move my water bottle. I don't even know what happened. And there was a balloon, and I went to like rearrange or whatever, and just like just smashed it. Just dropped right out of my hand and smashed on the hardwood floor. And I'm still
Did
cleaning
the
up the rest.
alcohol take off the
It didn't.
finish
No,
of the wood? That's
no.
good.
My friend went and got paper towels and helped me clean it up. It was a fucking mess.
I
though.
just watched.
You just watch. It was all right because your maniacal son lost his mind laughing because it was the funniest fucking thing he saw all night, and he's just glad he didn't do it. Things that crash, things that like go wrong, he finds amusing.
He gets it from you.
He does get it from me. I know. I mean, I'm smiling now. I was not laughing at the time, but then John yelled at him. He's like, "Sean, it's not funny." And then I sent him to get me a beer because I no longer had a drink. So he has his beer pouring privileges back. He's usually, it's good if he ever wants to bartend. You should know how to pour a beer properly. And depending on which beer it is different ways to pour it. And so he
So
lost
I could write that on Sean's IEP: skills that your son, strengths that your son has.
He's usually good at picking out which beer glass.
Underage.
He knows which beer glass to go with which beer, usually. And
Things that he learns from his aunt and uncle.
and how to pour the beer. Yes.
Sometimes he does it on purpose wrong, like fast.
Well, and he broke a glass at a previous party that we had. It might have been Halloween. And then
Why did he do that?
It was by accident. We have an old porcelain sink.
Nothing's by accident.
Don't ever get a porcelain sink. This fucker, it is stained all the time. Like, it does not matter. Like, and I bleach it, and I hate the smell of Clorox. So right now it's a hell of a mess because I clean it vigorously, but it's like if you put like an old cookie sheet in to like soak, it rusts on the bottom and like along the edge or whatever, and then it leaves rust marks.
I have stainless
And
steel.
those do not. I need stainless steel.
I don't like stainless steel because you know why? It shows all of the dirt. Not dirt, but like it's like I constantly feel like I need to clean it.
Well, it's better than a
bothers me.
white porcelain sink, an old white porcelain
Well,
sink.
I
mean, because you could see. I mean, it looks dirty all the time, and it's not.
Someone told me it's not in style anymore. It's out. But Corian, my old house, my old kitchen,
What is
we had a
Corian?
Corian sink. It's like a man-made. I don't know. Somebody.
You know
tell
you're
us.
old when you're thinking about fucking sinks.
So anyhow,
Fuck.
it's not a natural stone. I forget what the hell it's actually made out of. But my sink was Corian, and so it didn't mark, it didn't stain, and it was white. I don't know. But Corian's not in anymore. I don't know what you get. I guess stainless steel or porcelain. I don't know.
I don't think they do porcelain anymore.
You're not doing granite.
Speaking of porcelain,
Sinks.
whatever the bathroom sink is made out of, I don't know what the bathroom sink is. What is the bathroom sink made out of? The one
Porcelain?
upstairs. The one down here is glass.
Usually
I hate
it's
it.
porcelain
So maybe it's porcelain.
or plastic, like a kind of hard.
I don't know.
plastic.
I dropped something in it. I don't know what or when, but it took a little chip out of it. Because here's me last week scrubbing the sink, and I'm like, and I got my fingernail. I'm like, what is this little black spot that won't come off? And it's like a divot. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck did I drop in here?
I don't know. If it's an older sink, I think they're porcelain.
It's not that. No, it's not that old. So I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's look, I don't know. We got some sink issues. I got some. One in the kitchen needs to be replaced, but we put that off because we just had the fucking tree taken down.
Why does it need to be replaced?
Because it's
Cosmetic?
cosmetically, it's perfectly fine, but I don't like the looks of it because it looks dirty all the time. It's not fucking dirty.
Spend your money on something else.
I mean, there's plenty of other parts of my house that are fucking dirty. The sink I actually scrub clean, and I can't.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, let's switch gears. So I said, I'll save that one for the end. I'm gonna save that one for the end. I don't want to go off. It might make me hostile.
Well, this will make you hostile.
People think I'm not hostile all the time. Really, I'm not. I mean, I can be. Things.
There's just always something that
I mean,
makes
I
you
wake
hostile.
up and I'm fine. It's other people that make me hostile. I mean, it's like
Or things.
things, whatever. So okay. So I think we were talking. I think briefly last week we talked about
Yeah.
Ruby Frankie.
Ruby Frank.
So if you have not, and I just heard about her not long ago, like maybe right before Christmas, sometime this fall.
Right, but the incident, just to give you a time frame, the incident in when she became on the news
was like 10
August.
years ago.
No, August of 2023 is when she got in trouble.
She was popular way before. Okay, so this woman had a YouTube channel. She's a Mormon woman from Utah, and apparently the Mormon. And we don't mean to offend the Mormons. Like if you're Mormon,
she
I
was
apologize.
a vlogger.
A vlogger. So the Mormon Church is trying to promote vlogging of their. They want the families to vlog to show what a nice
wholesome
family looks like. And I need to do research because I should know this. And Under the Banner of Heaven, which I read, which I believe is about Mormons, like a true story. I forget the author's name because I'm not good with names. He's written quite a few books that I've read. I think there's a K in there. His last name starts with a K. Crackhouse. I forget.
Crackhouse.
Anyway, I didn't say Crackhouse. I said Krakow.
Oh.
Because Mormons are Christians, yet, but they believe something else, and that's what I'm confused about because it's
the Latter-day Saints. They have their own book called Book of Mormon.
Right, but they also have
the Bible.
But they also have the Holy Bible. Like,
right.
They believe in Jesus, but they believe Jesus is coming back soon, I guess.
Right. I don't know. And we don't need to talk about it. We're not trying to be political.
So I'm trying to give you that's not political, that's religious.
Well, same thing.
So the background here is that from what we have learned from this is that she was vlogging her family. So those of you are like, what the fuck?
Also,
vlogging?
For the Mormon Church to try and recruit people
at home that might be a little bit of an age where they don't know what the fuck vlogging is. Vlogging is video logging like your day, and so she's on there showing. So she became famous on YouTube, making like $100,000 a month. We gotta bump this up, people. Tell your friends we gotta bump this up.
Well, she started out at making $85.
It was the first paycheck. It was $85,
and at times. Towards the end, she was making $100,000 a month. That's in a documentary that's on TV, so we're not just making that up.
Right. So, and if you're looking, so there's a three-part Hulu episode on her, and it talks about how she became famous vlogging, and I'm sure there are other really good ones too. But of course, she's a tiny little blonde girl, and tiny little blonde girls are usually the ones who became famous. She is cute till she lost her fucking mind, and then she went psycho. So. She's in jail along with her fanatical, crazy, maybe girlfriend, maybe not therapist who's man-hating. I could not recommend this show. Three parts.
Ruby Franke was doing the family thing. She got in with this therapist years later, like 10 years into the vlogging, and the therapist's name was Judy Hildebrandt. And
Judy.
I forget.
It's
Julie Hildebrandt. At any rate,
she's a nut.
So she is a nut and a confirmed nut even before she met Ruby, and she kind of has.
There's a special on her by herself.
She loves brainwashing people.
There's a special on her by herself. So basically, Ruby goes from being what looks like a good mom, even though behind the scenes, I mean, whatever. She was screaming a little bit. You have 6 kids. I'd be fucking screaming too. I mean, like, look, like who doesn't fucking scream at their kids? If you don't, kudos to you.
I only have one at home.
I mean, but look, every once in a while, kids have to be yelled at. I don't know what to say. Anyway, she was never like beating them or anything, when she was vlogging. She's like, gather up.
She was just very strict too.
Right, and she was also very strict, and so blah, blah, blah. But then she lost her mind because of this Julie woman. She totally thought her kids had demons in them and then tried to like get the demons out.
Yeah,
and
now she's 6 kids.
Now she's in jail for child abuse. The one kid got free from his duct tape, handcuffs, whatever the fuck he had around him. That part was very disturbing.
That was the part that
I cried.
That's what broke the case. In August of 2023, he escaped from the home.
And the sweetest little boy. He was like 10 years old. He was completely emaciated. I'm not giving anything away because the show starts with this scene.
Yeah, and it
goes and rings someone's doorbell, like the Ring doorbell thing, and this older gentleman comes out and wants to know how he can help him. And he asked him if he could please do him a favor and call the police. And the man asked him what for, and he said, "Well, it's a personal matter." And he had him sit down, and then
how polite.
And then they show the older gentleman, talking to the police, and he's
crying.
He was choked up. The kids, the girl who was the wife, whoever was in the house, a woman gave the kid a banana. But when they went into the house and were trying to get the little girl out because she was locked in a fucking closet somewhere or something, when they showed the honey cayenne pepper mix that they were
putting on the
boy's wounds, I really like. I like bawled. I had to pauses for a minute because then I had the tears,
and then you had the rage.
And then I was outraged, and I thought, I hope some fucker's doing this to her in prison. I hope she. Anyway, so anyway, and then the husband. I don't want to pass judgment on the husband. He was brainwashed, but.
Brainwashed. Some people, I think, are more susceptible.
I don't understand why so many
brainwashed.
people become brainwashed because of Jesus and God, who promote goodness. I mean, I never went to Sunday school thinking I was like, I'm going to hell the next day if I do something a little bit bad. But apparently, there in whatever church or religion that they had, that being everything was bad, everything was demonic. You're all going to hell if you don't do this, this, and this.
Well,
only the purest of people get to heaven.
The basis
I'm not.
for the
if
religion.
That's the truth. That I'm not going to heaven. So there's that.
Well, I'm not either. But the basis of the religion is that you need to live a clean lifestyle. No caffeine, for example, which would be coffee. Alcohol, no drugs.
No sex talk.
No swearing.
Pornography.
No pornography. And that's just not like porn.
No masturbation.
Like, okay.
Well, because the special that we started, the guy, remember, we started, yes, we had to turn it off because Sean was in the room, so we couldn't keep watching. Because there's another special about the Julie lady that we want to watch.
And it's also, so to them, pornography is like a rated R movie or like a dirty, like a movie that has like people kissing a lot in or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, so this Julie woman is supposed to be
again,
a therapist.
not passing judgment. We're just giving you like a tidbit of what we know about.
This is what we learned watching this 3-part Hulu special. So, the Ruby Franke story. So her daughter Sherry wrote a book, which I bought for Kelly, gave it to her for her birthday, and she read it last week, and now I'm going to read it.
The daughter wrote the book in January, so it's very recent.
The daughter, it came out in January. It was published in January. She didn't write it in January.
And this goes along with the 3 episodes.
She was the oldest. This is Sherry, who is the oldest daughter.
She's like 23 or 24 now.
She's in college.
She
tried to...
Yeah.
Because I kept watching this thinking, where the fuck is everybody else? These people are from big families. They have aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters. And this is the part that I didn't... I mean, she made...
They start to isolate them.
She isolated... The father was kicked out for a year, didn't speak to his wife or kids for a year, and he was okay with that because he believed that he was doing what God wanted him to do. Okay.
So the brainwashing, and then Julie, which is not the wife, Julie... also brainwashing Ruby a little bit, and Ruby following Julie. Like, it's just Julie, if anybody reads or does any research on cults and things like that, and I'm not saying this religion is a cult.
No, Julie created a bit of a cult.
Yeah, which has nothing to do with the religion at the end of the day. She created a cult. But
most cults come out of religion, which is fucked up. Because when you think about it, the principles behind the Bible are not about, like...
being a cult.
Like you're all going to hell. I mean, that's in there, but really it's not what it's all about.
Right.
I mean, it's about goodness and whatever.
But one of the things about being a cult leader is not a thing. It's just that you're very charismatic, you're very endearing, and...
She was a bitch, though. Just looking at her, she had a fucking scowl all over her face. She was ugly. Well, I mean, look.
But all these women liked her. But at any rate, you start to isolate people. That's how this happens.
And she hated men, which I think also a lot of women were drawn to that.
Isolated that family, so then she was able to manipulate Ruby to get rid of...
I mean, she kicked her son out.
Yeah. So the oldest son, who
she
was
also
like
kicked
17,
them out because she wanted Ruby. She wanted Ruby for herself.
It has to do.
They were in a relationship.
Only the men got kicked out, which was the one son, the oldest son, because the other one didn't really, I guess, wasn't a threat because he was only like 10.
Where were the two middle children though? Because I forget that
they were at the neighbors.
That's right.
Not the whole time. The neighbors. The day she got arrested.
The neighbors had called DHS because they realized the kids had been left alone a lot. I don't want to give it away. You watch it. It's really, if you have Hulu, it's worth the 3 episodes.
But let me just say this because this is important, and I found this out, and it is fact. So Utah has a free range law in effect, meaning, and they passed it several years ago, meaning
so kids can be free range?
Yes. So when they called DHS and when they called, I guess another social worker and the police showed up, there was not proof at the time. Each time these
no physical proof of physical harm.
These groups were called. There was no physical harm, so they couldn't really A, get a search warrant, and B, do any arresting or anything. Because Utah has this law where it's the free range law or something where kids are able to, walk themselves to school. It was enacted because people were not walking
walk their kids to school here?
No, people were not walking their children to school. People were not monitoring their children outside, and so people were...
We have that here.
People were getting called... No, but... The difference is people in Utah, I guess, were calling about their neighbors who weren't walking their children to school, for example, or watching them outside in their backyard, for example. And so then Utah they were getting arrested or getting fined or whatever for child neglect. And then finally, Utah, and I'm sure there's some other states, passed this free range law where children are able to walk themselves to school and go to the grocery store by themselves. And there's no specific
age. But at what age?
It doesn't give an age.
A 4-year-old could just be...
Well, kind of. I didn't go into that great of detail about it, but it doesn't
Interesting.
seem to give a specific age. So that's why the authorities, when called, couldn't really do anything
They
because
didn't
there
go
was
in the
no
house.
signs of physical
Right.
abuse. They didn't have a search warrant. They were only able to deal with, whoever came to the door and walked outside kind of thing. But they were following the law. The agencies were, because they were allowed to be
Utah
unattended.
to me is a scary sounding
They
state.
were allowed to be unattended.
No
Like,
offense if you're in Utah.
there's
I just-
also, so there was no age limit, and kids can stay by themselves in the house. They can feed themselves as long as there's not any neglect or physical harm or whatever. They
Okay.
were all.
I mean, we grew up like that. We were fine. We didn't want to go to the grocery store, but
yeah,
I
but
mean,
then
we were left
society,
in the car at the grocery store
Yeah,
though, which
but
now you go
then,
to jail
but
for
we
that.
weren't like locked in, and
No.
but then society swung to the other way for a variety of reasons. Some of them are very worthy of, like, children being left unattended for 5 days.
These kids in this fucking neighborhood are left unattended all the fucking time. All the time.
And then there's the child abuse situation that comes in with some of these things, which is why people were
Okay, yeah,
calling
we
on
need
their
to
neighbors.
we need to switch gears. Sorry,
Okay,
this is getting
well, anyhow.
dark. It's dark.
It's not
It
dark.
was dark.
It's a very good book.
The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie is the name of the book. For those of you who aren't watching, sorry, I hold it up and think not everyone watches. Some of you just
Right.
listen. It's called The House of My Mother: A Daughter's Quest for Freedom by Sherry Frankie.
And it's not, I'm not giving anything away, but Jody or Julie and
Julie
Ruby,
Hildebrand.
Julie Hildebrand and Ruby Frankie each got 30 years for 6 counts
Up
of
to
child
30
abuse.
years.
Up to 30
Up to
years.
30 years.
Up to 30 years. But I don't think they're going to get paroled either. They would be eligible for parole in 4 years.
Look,
It was a good book. I read
just-
it in 2 days.
like Joe doesn't like cult things because it makes him sad because he's like, how do you get so broken as a human being
Right.
that you think this is a good thing to be a part of?
Right. Well, that's who usually joins, people that are in search for something, and they join, and then that's what the cult leaders like. If you do any studying sociology and on this, is that you're kind of broken, so you're looking
Right, that's
for,
what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah.
It's all broken people. They're
or
broken
they
fucking
start to
people.
break you. They find
Or
the
they
crack
break,
and then
right.
they break you.
Or that. So, well, and Ruby, anyway,
I find it fascinating.
it is I love to watch cult shows. When I'm not watching true crime, which, well, I guess cult kind of falls into true crime.
I mean, because it just brings up so many questions. Like, I have so many questions after watching this.
Right. I mean, you know how many times I've watched stuff on, what's his name? Charles Manson? And still I just shake my head. These girls from affluent families have their whole life ahead of them and like lose their fucking minds over this fucking psychopath and, kill people.
Is he still
Okay.
alive?
No, he died a few years ago.
Okay.
Dog.
So anyhow,
Anyway,
you got a lot of birds out there.
is it a bird or a dog?
No, that's a dog, but
And
there
then
are
they're
like a
nesting
lot
in
of
there.
birds.
Well, it's a thorny bush, so they're safe in there.
They were like chirping up a storm a minute ago.
I couldn't hear it.
Oh.
Imagine.
Anyhow, good book, good
Anyhow,
good show. You should watch it.
Speaking of bad things, bad omens. So, Joe and I wanted to go to Italy this year. We've been talking about it for a couple of years. We were going to go back this year. We went several years ago, but I was in a bad way, and so I couldn't go. So, we were going to go. So, first bad omen. I apologize to my friends that watch this that have already heard this story. So, first bad omen, Pope is sick. Like, he's not in a good way. So that was like a bad omen. Second bad omen was I got in touch with I must have flight attendant. No, travel agent who just completely flaked off. And like a week later, I still had not heard back from her. So I'm like, okay, never mind. Like, forget it. So that was bad omen number 2. And then for 3 days, I tried to book the fucking flights.
That still blows my mind.
And I mean, it didn't matter what I did. I could not book these flights. I kept getting an error. It didn't matter which airline I switched to, which days I switched to, which cities it didn't coming and outgoing I switched to. It just didn't matter. I got an error message. So finally, Joe and I both decided that we are not meant to go whether like maybe Vesuvius is going to fucking blow, maybe God forbid the Pope dies and then there's some kind of, political unrest over the next one, or I don't know. Look, people hate Americans right now. I don't know.
What airline were you on?
It didn't even matter. I was on Expedia, but it didn't matter.
Because sometimes we just book them straight on the airline.
Yeah, but I wanted to do it was also like multi-city, and I prefer to do it through Expedia. It's easier, but it didn't matter what airline I picked. I mean, I picked the most expensive. I picked the cheapest. I picked Canadian Airlines. I picked British Airways. It didn't matter what the fuck I picked. It did not. It just every time for 3 days I got an error, and it is specific to Italy because I tried Ireland just for shits and giggles to see what was happening. I mean, because I had been using my phone. I tried chatting with someone online, and then they recommended, get on the computer.
Yeah.
So I got on my laptop. It didn't matter what I did, time of day, 3 days of this.
I would have been irate.
And it didn't. So we agreed it is not meant to be. So instead, we bought tickets to go see Eric Clapton in September, which I'm very excited about because he is only doing 6 shows. I hope this is at the beginning in case he can't handle it. Yeah. I mean, the guy's old.
I didn't realize that.
Yes. And Joe will tell you, as much as I love my British TV, for whatever reason, aside from like Clapton and Led Zeppelin, I'm not like a British music fan. Like Joe's like, what do you have against British music? Like Phil Collins comes on and I'm like, Rod Stewart, like immediately like off. And he's like, what do you have against it? I'm like, I don't know. The Stones are not my favorite band. It's one of Joe's favorite bands, and I like a handful of their songs. I do love Queen, though. Queen is one of my favorite bands. Anyway,
I like Big Bottom Girls. That's one of my favorite
Well, how
songs.
about, I didn't know until like within this last decade.
And Bicycle.
I didn't. No, stop. No. Fuck. I will not have that out of my head now for days. I'm going to be going around, and all the words I know are bicycle, bicycle. Anyway, I totally thought that like fucking Leonard Skinner or someone sang Fat Bottom Girls, and I love Queen. I had no idea, and I think also because like I didn't have like a Queen album because like I probably did somewhere, the CD somewhere, I don't know, but I just never. I always thought it was like Leonard Skinner singing Fat Bottom Girls.
That doesn't even sound like them.
I did not think it was Queen. Don't put it on because then we get this copyright thing, and then
No, I'm not gonna.
So I was in the car heading home here with Joe. I mean, I'm coming from your house. It was like literally like a decade ago. And something about it came on and I was like, on the radio, they're like, and that was Queen with Fat Bottom Girls. I'm like, what? Queen doesn't sing Fat Bottom Girls. Like Leonard Skinner sings Fat Bottom Girls. I mean, I totally had no idea. And I came home and said it to Joe. He just looked at me. He's like, how did you not know that? Meanwhile, that Queen movie that won all the awards or was up for all the awards a few years ago, one of my favorites. What is the name of that movie? Bohemian Rhapsody? Is that the name of the movie?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
That was about Queen, but also Freddie Mercury mainly, right?
I love Freddie Mercury. There was a guy when we were out on Halloween. Joe and I went out with friends, and we were waiting for them. And a guy came through dressed up like Freddie Mercury. I mean, he fucking nailed it.
Did he have mouth? The shape of his mouth?
He had the stash. He had it all. I mean, this guy fucking nailed it. And I stopped him at the bar. I was like, oh my god. I was like, you look. I should have asked him for a picture, but I'm never like. Sometimes I had to have a few drinks before I went to the next bar that I asked for a picture with those people who were dressed like, Christ. The guy with the fro who was painted. I think it was him.
Oh, Bob Ross.
I think it was Bob Ross and whatchamacallit, Frankenfurter from the Halloween movie, the musical.
Tim,
yeah.
From Rocky Horror Picture Show?
From Rocky Horror Picture Show, yeah.
But what was his name? The actor.
I mean, I know it and I can't. Also British. I cannot. I can't. I'm so bad with names. I'm going to think of it as soon as we're done here.
This is Fat Bottom Girls.
Right. I mean, that's like Leonard Skinner, Alabama. I mean, that's very much like an American country sounding rockabilly, whatever kind of song. I did not think. I mean, it is night and day from Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, they had a big.
I understand that, but for the majority of my lifetime. I mean, I was like 40 until I found out that fucking Queen sang Fat Bottom Girls. Who knew?
Sometimes I wonder where you've been.
Everywhere.
No, but clearly sometimes you miss some of these.
I mean, and I'm pretty musically inclined. Your son has a great music collection thanks to me and Joe.
Yeah.
He likes this classic rock for his
Thank
birthday.
God. His aides at school have often thanked us for his taste in music.
He has some shit taste.
Because he's not listening to
like the
crap stuff.
Right. No offense. We can't do pop. Like, we are very much a classic rock.
Oh, he does like the Justin Bieber. He used to torment
the Justin Bieber.
My oldest.
There's a little bit of that. But for his
likes
birthday, he asked for actual albums, right?
Led Zeppelin.
I got Joe
AC/DC.
a record player for Christmas last year. Then Sean decided that he wanted a record player, so we got a record player. And so for his birthday, for Christmas he got Tom Petty albums. He loves Tom Petty, thanks to us, and he loves Pink Floyd, which the
I'm not a
one
big
I'm
Pink
bad
Floyd
with the
fan.
song. When I take him for rides, it comes on and then we jam out. He likes the one about
Money?
no, because again with titles and names that I can't think of, especially when I'm trying to. You can't eat your pudding till you first eat your meat.
I thought that was Money. No.
No. Anyway, if you're a Pink
I don't
Floyd
know.
fan, anyway. So for his birthday, then he asked for because we got him on Guns N' Roses, and then an AC/DC. When I was driving around with him not too long ago, oh God, what is that song that came on? And I love it. And he wanted to know who it was, and I quickly turned it off before he could use his app to
Hell
identify
Spells?
it. It wasn't AC/DC.
Oh.
I wanna fuck you like an animal. Nine Inch Nails.
Oh my
Nine Inch Nails, right? And I'm not a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, but I happen to really like that song.
I didn't know that was 9 Inch Nails.
It's Nine Inch Nails. So it came on, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "No, wait, no," and I quickly turned it, and he was like, "Who is it?" I'm like, "I don't know. It doesn't matter." I'm like, "Oh my God," and that's up there with like Marilyn Manson. There's like just a couple of songs I like. I'm not like a Marilyn Manson. Actually, Marilyn Manson terrifies me. I can't look at him.
I don't like his eyes.
But I like two of his songs. And yeah, Nine Inch Nails. I like a couple of songs, but
I did not know 9 Inch Nails did that song.
yeah, I like that kind of thing. Like when I used to actually like do physical activity, like jog in the gym, I would have that on. That was the kind of like I had to have like that thrashing kind of music on to get me to move. I couldn't have on something where I want to like turn up, like bust a little move, like on the, you see people once in a while.
Oh my
like,
God, I want to
doing
see
a
you
little,
bust a
right?
move on the treadmill. Oh my God.
Right, that was me because I'd
Oh
like
my
a little
God.
hip hop, and I'm like getting into it and shit. And I'm like, okay, let me not do that. But the thrashing, yeah.
So you're banging your head off the...
Yeah. I loved it. Yeah, because it would like charge me to just
Right.
like to run and to keep going and to
Right.
and I had a special order that I had the songs in too.
Right, everybody
So
does.
I would know like when I kind of warm up and then really like the really heavy, yeah,
Head banging.
yeah.
I don't
I
like
know
running.
what happened to all of my music. I can't run now.
I don't like running. I mean, I'll do any kind of cardio.
I mean, I can run if
but
I have to, like real quick, like around the
running
house or
running is
something.
for ass. No, it's not. I'm just kidding because I know a lot of
No.
people that run.
I
I just
wish
can't do it.
I-
It's hard on my knees.
I enjoyed it when I got into it, and I was jogging, and when my little healthy stint before I met Joe, and I was like taking the boxing class with a friend of mine after work, and I was doing the 5K training, which I could do it at the gym. I just hadn't signed up to do one like outside yet, so I could do it. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I would go and do it a couple days a week, and then the one day I was jogging with my friend like on a track, and all of a sudden my legs went numb, and that's because my discs had moved in my back and trapped the fucking nerves, and then that's when the numbness started in my legs. So that abruptly put an end to
that triggered it.
everything. I mean, it had been coming on. I used to get like electrical shocks down my legs. So it would kind of like pinch the nerve and release it. I mean, it was like being electrocuted. I mean, it was really a hell of a thing. Like if I would lean back a certain way, it was like, oh my God. Or if I would bend a certain way, it was just once in a while. And then, yeah. And so
That is a hell of a thing. I can't. I'm glad I don't
I
have
had
that.
the numbness.
Do
So-
they call it a neuropathy?
well, so I'm guessing now, like my three toes and my right foot, the last three, the two middle guys and the pinky.
The pinky?
The
Or is it from breaking them?
No, it's from the nerves being compressed in between my discs for so long, and my surgeon said to me that like if it doesn't come back after a year, which is in 2 weeks, then I'll probably never get it back.
You got 2 weeks.
So right, it's definitely changed. So it kind of
Does it
feels yes and no. So like when you're sitting like Indian style on the floor, crisscross applesauce on the floor. You're not to say Indian style anymore. When you're sitting with your legs crossed on the floor,
crisscross
applesauce. And your leg falls asleep or your foot falls asleep,
pins and needles.
and it's pins and needles, and it kind of hurts at the same time. That's what those three toes feel like, and it has varying degrees of like in the mornings when I wake up, sometimes it's really bad for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's the angle I don't know if it's from sleeping and like the covers like pushing down your toes or the way. I don't know.
They
I don't know.
say that you're not supposed to tuck your sheets in at the bottom of your
Right.
bed. They also say, more
It's
importantly,
not supposed to push on your toes.
that you're certainly not supposed to do the hospital corners, which Mom always taught us to do with
Right.
making my bed. I still do it, but you're not supposed to. My orthopedist
Yeah, I can't
told
stand
me
it.
you're not supposed to have. If you tuck the sheets in under, the mattress at the foot of the bed, you're to make them loose so they don't push your feet down or your toes, even if you're sleeping on your stomach. And you're certainly not supposed to do the hospital corners because that makes it really tight.
I can't. It hurts my feet.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
I can't do that.
That goes for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are and what your issues are. You're not supposed to do that. It's not good for your feet.
It's not. Well, and so the neuropathy is interesting because so before my surgery, my legs would go numb. I mean, I couldn't stand, which was, I mean, like I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand. The problem, like I could barely get from the front door down our short driveway. It's 1 car length into the car.
Now look at yourself.
And now look at myself, right? And so I couldn't because my legs would go numb, and so it was terrifying because I didn't really ever go anywhere without Joe because I mean it really was. It's amazing how easily we adapted to it, though. I mean, Joe would like drop me off at the doorstep or wherever I was going and pick me up or whatever, go get the car and come get me. Like we just adapted to it for so long, and now the numbness in the legs went away immediately. And he told me that it should, and thank Christ it did, because that would have really sucked. But it was like they were compressed the nerves were compressed for so long that. I mean, he was like, I don't know what kind of damage, is gonna, because the toes were constant. Like they were constantly numb. My legs would go numb when I would start to walk. So they weren't fully compressed, but my movement would do whatever to the discs to compress them anyway. So the toes, I don't know. PT Joe and I've talked about it. I don't know if I can get it back, but it has changed. The feeling of it has changed. Like I've gotten some feeling back, but it does hurt here and there. But it doesn't stop me from anything, I don't think. It's annoying, really. It's more annoying than anything.
When something different, but along the same lines, when I had my wisdom teeth taken out when I was 22, you have to sign away your entire life, or your parents do, whoever's insurance is paying for it. So,
you were 22 when you had that done?
Yeah. So
My
the
God.
oral surgeon, I was getting migraines, and they finally figured out it was my wisdom teeth. So actually only 3 were impacted. So they, this one was impacted and they took it out, and then you're numb, and then, you're not numb a couple days later. From here over on my left side, I have
You get the close up.
I have no feeling.
Still?
Yeah.
So if I punch you in the side of the face, you're not
now
going to feel
that
it?
I'm going to feel because it goes deeper, but like my lip.
Let's try it.
No, and my gum, right in there, my gum inside. It's to here. It's numb.
Let me you close your eyes and then see what's coming.
No, because the rest of my body, but like if you touch it here and it's like a cold sensation, that's what I feel. But anyhow, they nicked the nerve and it never grew back.
So just close your eyes and see if you can feel me touch you.
No, it's not like that. But I'll tell you one thing. So I don't have any feeling. Like I can't really feel that. But if I eat like a potato chip or something sharp and oh my God, it sends me straight up the wall. Straight up the wall.
Oh.
Hurts.
Well, that sounds horrifying.
Yeah. Wow. So it's just interesting. It's just on the bottom. It's here. And when something's
So
sharp.
they got a nerve, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it never grew back. Never grew back. It didn't do anything.
Well,
I mean,
despite my toes being numb, when I drop my phone in the corner of it lands on one of my toes, I still feel that fucker. I mean,
because that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no feeling, but deeper in,
it is awful.
Deeper in, just like your toe. I mean, and it has to do with the whole area. Like, the toe is, the toe, but the pain, I guess, radiates, or I don't know.
Well, it used to also go into my foot, and now it's mostly just the toes. But like before, like it would feel like there was something like stuck to the bottom of my toes.
Oh God, I hate that feeling.
Like it was an awful feeling, and that's like the first time it happened. I was like on the floor, like I sat down, trying to get my foot up to look at the bottom of it. I'm like, what is? And I couldn't see anything, and so I called Joe over. I'm like, what's on the bottom of my toes? He's like, nothing. I'm like, there's something stuck to the bottom of my toes, and he's like, Megan, there's nothing on the bottom of your feet, and I was like, there's nothing, and mostly it bothers me. With socks and shoes on. I put a sock on.
Which is why you go barefoot all the time.
Well, I've never liked socks and shoes. I mean, I wear them more now because wearing you should not be walking around hardwood floors in your bare feet. And the podiatrist told me years ago to stop walking around and shit flip-flops. She's like, let me guess, do you have a closet full of Old Navy flip-flops? I'm like, yeah, and some J. Crew, really cute.
I mean, you might as well not have any shoe
she's
on.
like, get rid of them. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, let's move on because no one wants to hear about my neuropathy. Although I do have a friend who has neuropathy because he ran over his foot with a lawnmower.
Did he cut his foot?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, then he cut the nerve.
He And the,
my
the story,
God.
I'll have to ask Joe.
That's horrible.
The story is when he was in the hospital, there was a guy that came in with an axe wound or something, like near his crotch. He was chopping wood or something, and he thought, he's like, I'm not as bad as that guy. Like, I don't have the story completely straight, but it was something along those lines. Okay, so the other week we were talking. I got the
like
new Real
Brooke
Simple.
Shields.
I know Brooke Shields. I want to look like her.
So do
like
I.
if I could look like any woman, it's her or Jennifer
I've
Garner.
always thought that. I wanted to look like
She's
Brooke Shields
absolutely beautiful.
Since I was
and look
little.
how nicely, if you're actually watching this and not just listening, she's aging beautifully.
She's 60-something. She's
right?
beautiful.
I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous. I don't think she's had any work done because I can see her wrinkles, which I fully appreciate.
She did a book
Her hair looks
recently.
fucking good. I mean,
Well, the hair color. She talks
mean,
about that.
yeah, but she also might have like some whatever put in
Extensions?
I mean,
But she colors her
when
hair.
you have that kind of money too. Okay, anyway, so the Real Simple, I would,
I wanna read
would
that.
do. I haven't read it yet, but I did find so that the Modern Manners or Miss Manners or whatever article that's in it. So it was Jenna Bush Hager and Hoda Kotb who were doing that morning show together, but Hoda Kotb's gone. She retired. So I thought that I couldn't find it last week. I found it, and she's with us. So it's Jenna Bush Hager, and she has a guest. Modern Manners Advice for Your Social Dilemmas by Jenna Bush Hager and Talia Parkinson Jones.
Is she on the Today Show with her now?
I don't know. I thought it said it was
a guest.
Jenna with this issue's co-columnist Talia.
Oh, so it is a guest, like a guest.
An executive producer on Today, an excellent dilemma solver. Okay, here's this week's dilemma. You're not even ready for this because you know that I can relate to this, and I'm not going to say much because of how much I can relate to it, and I don't want to.
Oh.
I got to be careful what I say. Anonymous asks, my friend often reaches out with texts like, hey, are you free on Saturday? The issue, I don't know whether she's asking if I'm free to hang out with her or if I'm free to dog sit or babysit, and it's often the latter. How do I respond in a way that gives me the option to hang out, but maybe not dog sit?
Do you respond with, why? Do you need me to babysit? I'm not free. I don't know. How do you do that? I don't know.
I can't say how I deal with it because then I give my shit away. Here's what Jenna says.
Nobody's done that to me.
I know nobody does that too, but my people do that to me. Sorry. Anyway, because when they do it, it's never to ask to hang out.
Right.
It's always when it's given to me in that manner. It is always because they want me to do something for them or they want something.
Right.
It's never like, and I would say like, hey, are you free on such and such, to grab dinner, or are you free to hang out?
Yeah. I always state my intentions.
But when people, right, I state my intentions. Usually. I mean, I mean, if I don't, but I'm also never asking someone like, hey, can you help me move? Or, hey, X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's, hey, if you're free, I'm asking if you're free so you can fucking hang out. I mean, if I'm asking a favor of someone, it's generally you, like to drive us to the airport or something like that. Like, it's not,
Or be the designated driver.
Right. I mean, and when you ask me if I'm available, like, to babysit
usually...
Sean, you say it's to babysit Sean. Like, I know it. Okay, so here's Jenna's answer. Well, that's a lot of responsibility in a friendship. It's not very fair of her. You're fucking right, it's not. It is not fair. People take
advantage.
You can write back and say, hey, if you're asking if I'm free to hang, I'm totally free, but I can't hang with the dogs. Talia says, I'd tell her you can hang out and you're really looking forward to having some fun. Jenna says, you don't think she needs to transparently say that she can't or doesn't want to dog sit. Talia says, I don't think she needs to say that part. Just say, I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you. I haven't seen you in a while. I can't wait to go and do something fun. Jenna says, but what if the friend writes back and asks if you can dog sit? She just says she can't. And Talia says, yes, exactly. No explanation needed. Friends shouldn't be putting us in bad positions, and they should accept a blanket no without an excuse. No? Oh, wait, sorry. She might get the hint and start being more clear with her asks.
Well, I mean, no is a complete sentence. I learned that from reading Kelly Ripa's.
But you know how many fucking people do not take no as a complete sentence?
I know.
I shouldn't have to explain myself. No, sorry, I can't. Why not? It's not your fucking business. Why not? How about that? It's not your fucking business.
That's rage.
No is no. Look.
Rage on. Wait, is there another thing?
That was it for that. Do you want me to read another one?
Yeah.
Okay. we're almost at an hour. Why don't we could just? Okay.
Well, do you have? I don't have. I mean,
Let me see. Okay, save it for next week.
okay,
Let's save that one for next week.
okay.
No, I just had to, let me calm down.
It is
Let me
St.
calm
Patrick's
down.
Day
It is so
week.
So we're St. Patrick's Day. When we post this, it will be like St. Patty's Day weekend,
Right.
Which I think Joe and I are actually going to be dry this weekend. So I'm going to be dry. I think for a couple
There was nothing
weeks.
better than St. Patrick's Day in college.
And see, I never got to do the state. We call it State Patty's Day.
Well,
They
that
call it
wasn't
now.
there when I
No,
was there.
State Patty's Day at Penn State. Thus Penn State Patty's Day. It always fell during spring break, which it still does usually, because it's spring break is
St.
this week.
Patrick's Day falls during spring
Right.
break at Penn State.
And now they do a whole thing and they bust people in and the town loses their fucking mind and the people who live there hate it and whatever, but it does bring a lot of revenue in. But kids get busted in to lose their fucking minds and they're not responsible enough to drink that way. They shouldn't be doing it. But anyway, I never got to participate because it was either during spring break and so there was like nothing going on and I was working.
Right.
Or it was the week after spring break, which was like fucking midterms.
Right.
So maybe my last year, and I think actually was after I graduated that I went back. I remember having an ugly light green shirt on with stripes. I had a bad haircut. It was shorter, remember, because that lady
Oh, yeah.
had a bad haircut, and then they had to make it shorter to make it better. I can't. I'm still
But
traumatized.
so now,
I'm still
so now at
traumatized.
Penn State, and I think other universities that have spring break during St. Patrick's Day, their universities, the kids celebrate
They
St.
kick
Patrick's
it off the
Day
weekend
before.
before like spring break
With
or
the
whatever.
green beer and the green
Yeah.
festivities and
Oh, never had green beer.
oh, I did. It makes you poo purple a little bit.
That's nice. Now I want a green beer just to see.
And it's just food coloring, but it,
Black icing will do that to you.
yeah.
That makes it green, actually. Anyway,
I had a
look, we just went
Snoopy. I had a Snoopy cake.
We just took a bad turn.
For my 4th
Took a
birthday. Mom
bad
and Dad have a
turn.
picture of it, and it was outlined in black. And that's how I know what black icing does to you.
Well, so no St. Patrick's Day celebration for us. I don't think. I mean, because I'm trying to be healthy for a few weeks, and now that today's we're filming this today is Joe's birthday, and
Happy
so
birthday.
we're going out tomorrow night for his birthday. And so I might have wine with the dinner because with the dinner we're going to a Brazilian steakhouse and it's a lot of red meat and I need wine with my red meat. I mean, look, you can't have one without the other. So actually, that's true. I can have plenty of wine without the red meat, but if I'm having red meat, I'm having wine.
Oh my God!
So that we might, but that might be it. Like we're gonna be, and then my plan is to be dry for a few weeks, and I can't drink Friday night because I have to be responsible. And then,
Why? What are you doing? Friday night? Are you
my
going somewhere?
friends' kids may or may not be
Oh.
crashing here after a concert.
No, I thought you were going somewhere. Okay.
And so I can't be drunk. I have to be alert to stay awake till midnight because well, also normally I'm in bed by 10, and if I'm drinking, I'm in bed by 8 or 9. So I need to be coherent to assess the situation.
Responsible.
Yes, I need to be responsible. So
Wait, how have you never had green beer?
because all during college
You didn't even go to the bars. I'm not even talking about a bar tour. I'm just stuck on
because
how was there
it was
not
always during finals week. We didn't do the whole. It was always during not finals week, midterms. It was always spring break was the beginning of March, as it still is. It's this week, and then next week is St. Patrick's Day, and they didn't do the things prior to that. That's a new thing. Like in Philly, they have it too. They bust people around, have these crazy bar tours.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, if you know me, I don't like a crazy bar. I am not waiting in line for a fucking beer. No, I don't wait in line. I'm not waiting in line.
Philadelphia has the Aaron Go Bra or the Aaron Express St. Patrick's Day
It's
bar
huge
tour.
here. But
They take
first of all,
buses,
because
like school buses.
it's a very Irish area. Like where me and Joe live, it's a very Irish area. Like off the bus, people from Ireland, like they're Irish. I mean, Joe's family is 100% Irish. His great grandparents were off the boat. So, from both sides. But anyway, so no, I just never did that. We never did the. And then now I moved, and then after college, now I'm here. Now I'm teaching. I'm in grad school. You know, and now I'm a responsible adult. I'm a responsible adult. So like, when are we? And also now I would never. I drink good beer, so I'm not going. They don't turn that. Look, I don't care that I'm a beer snob. I am a beer snob, and it's fine. I'm okay with that. If I'm going to drink it, I want quality beer. I don't want shit.
I've had my fair share of Pabst Blue Ribbon in college.
I mean, I drank a ton of shit beer in college, and after college, even before I met Joe. I mean,
What
I
did they
drank
have in
Miller
college?
Lite.
We had Miller Lite, Pabst Blue Ribbon. What else was on tap?
Miller
It was
High Life,
disgusting.
$1.75 pitchers in fall of '99 and spring of 2000. We would book ass to the Lion's Den. I lived far
a bar.
away. My friend's husband and I, they weren't married at the time. They were dating at the time. Now they're happily married, like 20 years, 25 years. We would haul ass to get there. She would take forever to get her hair done. Don't hate me if you're watching. It's true, you know. And we're like, we'll meet you there. We gotta get. They had like 4 tables at this bar. We gotta get a table. So we'd like book it there to get the table, you know, in the corner with the ashtray and the $1.75 Miller High Life pitchers. I remember I caught my pants on fire there once.
Oh my God. Were you smoking?
Well, not fire. Yes, I was smoking. Excuse me. I didn't catch them on fire. I melted a hole in them, to be specific.
Oh, nice.
They were like these like black polyester like flared pants. They were super cute. And if you remember the 90s, these were very in with some clunky fucking shoes, right? And that I was able to walk blocks in, which blows my mind because now I can't wear a kind of a heel. So I was smoking and like that, whatever. And all of a sudden my leg burned a little bit. I looked down and this hole had, like ash had fallen like an ember and melted a hole in my pants and burned my leg a little bit. Anyway, yeah. So Miller High Life and Miller Lite, Coors Light. I mean, whatever was on.
Oh, Coors Light. We had a lot of Coors Light.
Yeah, whatever was on. Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock. I love a Rolling Rock, and it has to be
Ice cold.
Ice cold. Ice cold.
See, the only time that
we used to drink those at the Skeller.
The Skeller's not there anymore.
I know, but it doesn't matter. It was a beer. It was
best. Our family, we go to a gun raffle. We used to go to this family gun raffle.
My
Joe and I would go. It was so much fun. We loved it. We'd go with our cousins, and the proceeds went to the local fire station. Like they would put us on. Like they owned like a little area, and they anyway.
The fire station.
It was the fire station owned this picnic area, so you would go and like we set up for the day, and they had this refrigerated truck that kept kegs and kegs and kegs, and they had like Coors Light, Miller Lite, and Bud Light. I believe were the 3. And I'm Miller Lite. Dad won't drink the Coors Light. It gives him a headache. So we're like, what do you want? And I want the Miller Lite. Like if I'm going to have it, I'm having Miller Lite. But it was like ice water. I mean, it was as cold could be. And then you can drink it because then you can't taste it.
Right.
That's why the beer that we drink, you're actually not supposed to have it. You're supposed to let it sit out for a few minutes because, or I'll hold it. You know, if I get it, nothing chaps my ass more than in a restaurant and I order a good beer and they bring it in a fucking iced glass and then I have to ask them don't do that again. So I have to sit there and warm it with my hands because it brings out the flavors in the beer. But a Miller Lite, you're trying to have it ice cold. Like you have to have it ice cold to drink it that way.
A Rolling Rock, I need ice cold. And every once in a while, I really want one of those.
Rolling Rock will rip me the fuck up the next day.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the best beer. I just want it ice cold, and it brings back fond memories of college. They used to have case studies. So you used to get a case.
Case studies?
Case as in like law school.
They called it case studies?
Case studies. So the bar in our college town, the one bar, had case studies, and you'd get there early on a Friday at noon.
Pony bottles. Little ones.
And everybody would get a case, and the bar itself called it a case study. So at the end of the night, they had all of the case boxes stood up, empty ones out there, and
that sounds very dangerous.
No, but they're outside. It counts how many cases they went through, like to try and set a record or something.
Yeah, we didn't partake in that. I didn't
They
really
were
go
ponies,
to this.
though.
I
They
didn't
called
really
them
go to the
ponies.
Skeller much
Ponies.
in college. They were pony
We did
bottles.
every Friday afternoon.
But I will say that, and then we got to wrap this up. So the one beer distributor that was specific to Rolling Rock was in the neighboring town, and so we got my friend Tom. I don't know if Tom watches this, but my friend Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Tom C. went with me and my friend Sarah the one time. We basically, no matter what year it was, except for senior year when we were all 21, we had a keg party like every fucking weekend.
Was this in Bellefonte?
My 2 junior years. So we went to Bellefonte.
Nastus?
Yes. Got the keg of Rolling Rock, thing of ice, sleeve of cups, go back, dropped him off. Sarah and I hauling this fucking thing up. We would park in the back, haul it up a couple of stairs, right? Roll it quietly into the elevator because there was a no keg rule in the apartment buildings because people had died at keg parties.
And they lose their mind and throw them off the balconies.
People lose their minds. So there was a rule, and there was this guy that worked in the front office, and you had to get the keg in there when he wasn't around. Sarah and I got this fucking keg. The two of us hauled this full size keg, into the elevator, and he comes scurrying over. You can't have that. And we played dumb. And he just looked at us. He's going to take it off. I'm like, but we just got it in here. Like, we just had to haul this in upstairs at the back of the building. He's like, you got to take it out.
I would have punched
Right?
him.
Back out we go. Right? Out, we left it. We stood there on the back
That was
step.
probably a good, like, frothy
Right?
beer then when you tapped it.
Waited for him to fucking go home. Right? I'm parked illegally here. Right? I parked blocks away. I paid $40 a month for a parking place 2 blocks away. Finally, he leaves. We get the fucker back on the elevator. Go back to my car, move it 2 blocks, come back. But the point of the story is that once we had the Rolling Rock keg, then the next weekend we would just roll the fucker back out, wait till he leaves, or the middle of the night, whatever it may be, go get the car, bring it over, put it in the car, go back to the beer distributor, and we would just pull up. And I also always looked older for my age at the time. And then also we were there every Friday, and they said, you want another barrel, 2 bags of ice, sleeve of cups, thanks, and leave. And they would I never had to get out of the car. They would just put it in the car. So then we often always had Rolling Rock, because then I didn't need to go find a friend that was 21 every time to help me, to get it. We just was a one and done. We had it. Because, that was a bit of a bitch. But our friend was also then welcome to come drink.
Here is one of the several caveats of going to college in the same town that your parents live. So, not even my husband's fraternity, a different fraternity where I hung out, knew all the guys. We go to the beer distributor in State College. Here I am with the guys. There are 3 guys. Yeah, we went to W.H. Hickey's, the local
WR,
the local distributor where all the fraternities and everybody else got their kegs mostly. So, I walk in and they're like, "Hey, aren't you Mike Spicer's daughter?" I'm like, "Uh-huh."
Were you 21?
No, I wasn't 21. I was just with them.
What were you thinking?
I don't know.
They gave us lollipops when we would go in.
I know.
Not that my dad was there.
I didn't get a lollipop that night.
They had lollipops.
I didn't get one that night.
Like a big fishbowl of lollipops up on the... No.
Right. Not that mom and dad... they knew I was in college, but, I was like... this is what happens when you go
I can't believe
school.
you went there. We went to the ones on College Avenue.
No. We went to...
Where you didn't have to get out of the car.
We went and got the kegs. They were getting several kegs for fraternity party.
We went to Nittany, whatever it was. Nittany Beverage or whatever it was.
And then John... Well, I think they wanted a certain beer, and that's why they went to Hickey's.
I know the different distributors sold different...
But John's fraternity, when he was social chair, would go out to Bellefonte to Nastus. That's the beer distributor.
It was cheaper. It was worth the 20-minute drive, whatever it was, 25 minutes. It was worth the drive, and also for us, because we weren't 21...
It was cheaper.
It was cheaper. It was cheaper. And Rolling Rock was made in Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh area.
Like Western PA. But now, I don't think Rolling Rock... They still make it, but I think like Anheuser-Busch or someone took it over.
Probably.
Like
it
it's
used to
not
be made in Latrobe.
Yeah, in Latrobe, which is towards Pittsburgh, but it's I believe it's taken over. Anyway, okay, there's that story for today. Okay, what in the Christ?
A lot of noises.
If you all can't hear it, look. I came out the other morning.
At least we don't have the weed
Oh
whacker.
no! I came out the other morning. Someone had the fucking weed whacker or the leaf blower going the other day, and I was hostile.
Why would they have the leaf blower
I was
going?
like, look, it was sunny out.
And there's no need for lawns being mowed.
Fucking sunny out. So somebody, we need a leaf blower because we're at a part on the street.
You got a piece of your neighbor's styrofoam.
We have trash all through our bushes. This is not the trash that the fuckers behind us throw into our yard.
Oh.
This is the trash. How else does a full water bottle get into your yard? It doesn't just roll there, over
With
top
the fence.
6 foot, 8 foot high tree. The trash in the front yard that's all stuck in the bushes that we have to get in there and dig out.
Yeah, your tree people the wind, the blowing.
And we've had wind advisories here for fucking weeks, and it's always on trash and recycling nights, 2 nights a week, and it's always we have it today. It's supposed to expire before we put the trash out tonight, but it's always on trash days, both days a week, and then we have the trash all over. I can't. And I forgot to clean it up before friends came over on Saturdays. A hell of a mess out here at the fucking... It's a bag and
can't really see it.
Candy wrappers, a piece of someone's siding, I think. It's really just a fucking mess. I can't. And I meant to get it cleaned out, and I was hurrying, and I completely forgot about it.
Siding anybody?
So, it's so trashy looking. It's literally, no pun intended. Literally, it's trashy looking. What the fucking trash? Anyway. Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good week.
Happy St. Patrick's
Yes,
Day.
happy St.
If you
Patrick's
celebrate, enjoy your green beer or your festivities or your
Wear the green.
hooliganism or whatever. Oh, that's a word.
Shenanigans. I love
Thank you.
shenanigans.
Shenanigans. I love shenanigans. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.